Welcome back, and we've just finished dealing with the Avatar of Merkel, and we need to progress the story and head to Act 3. But before we do that, we're going to head to camp and make sure that we get all of our uh, camp scenes completed. Uh, we've also leveled up to level 10, so we can take a look at what we'll do for each of the characters. This is our last chance here in Act 2 to rob from Volo, so we can do that as well if that's something that you're interested in doing. We are pretty flush with money and scrolls, so it's not imperative that we do this, but if you want to go into the next act with the most potential, then that's something that you probably should do. We've got one of our companions that would like to talk to us. I'm sure that Karlach would like to talk about seeing Gortash.
You saw Gortash, didn't you? What the fuck was he doing down there? Is all of this because of him? The tadpole, the absolute. How?
We kind of knew this because we found a book in Ketheric's tower about it and a note from Ketheric. So we'll point out that he's a servant of Bane.
I'd never have protected a Baneite even a decade ago. I looked after that fucker with my life. I trusted him. He gave me away to Zariel without a second thought. And now he's looking to ruin the entire Sword Coast. He has to die. And I'm gonna be the one who kills him.
And we'll say that we'll do it together.
He can't get away with what he's done. To me. To us. He won't get away with it.
She's upset about that. I think that's fair. She's very brokenhearted. We take a look around camp. We're going to see that Halson is actually still at Moonrise Towers. So he's not in the place we'd usually find him, but we've got Dame Aelin and Isabel that have come to our camp. And we'll go ahead and start leveling up the party. Level 10 is a big level for bards, so we get to add some skills. So on the main screen, we'll click on that, and we'll get good at athletics and arcana. Those are two of the three options. The arcana skill is going to come up when we rob sorcerous sundries, and athletics is good for throwing and resisting being thrown. This makes Alfira the best thrower of people in the party. We have an option for a new cantrip. None of these are particularly standouts. I'll take Vicious Mockery because they say funny things, and we probably won't end up casting it very often, but it's funny when you do. Our 5th level spells, a little disappointing. We can take Hold Monster. We're not particularly good at getting that spell off because our difficulty numbers aren't that high. We could take a Healing Spell. Again, we don't tend to use those. We'll take Hold Monster as sort of the best worst option. We do, however, pick up Magical Secrets. This allows us to dip into other casting classes' spell libraries. We get to pick 2 of these spells, and there are so many standouts that we would like to have. We'd love to have Misty Step, for instance, but the ones that stand out the most to me are Counterspell. So this is the ability to prevent an opponent from casting a spell as long as they're within a certain distance of you, and Conjure Elemental. So the Conjure Elemental spell has an upcast function at level 6 where we get elemental myrmidons rather than just elementals, and the elemental myrmidons are extremely potent. Another good option might be Animate Dead, which has upcast as well for a flying horror, so the paralyzing ghoul. They're not, I think, nearly as good as the elemental myrmidons. So we're going to take Counterspell, we're going to take Conjure Elemental. We also have the opportunity to replace a spell. You can take a look and see what our options are, and nothing here really screams out to me that we would want it. So that's level 10 for the Bard. Level 10 for a Druid, the Land Druid, we get to pick a new cantrip. We'll pick Resistance for Jaheira. I'll point out as well that at level 10 they get improved Wild Strike, so when they're wild shaped they get 2 additional attacks when they're making an unarmed strike. Along with Tavern Brawler, this makes any druid really potent while they're shapeshifted as a physical fighter. You can see that we're also getting this ability where we're not charmed or frightened by elementals and fae. That's probably not going to come up at ever. And then we can change into this dinosaur that spits acid. Again, the one that we would probably use the most often is the owlbear. It's got a nice pounce attack, so it can close on things quickly. For Will and Warlocks in general, we get a new cantrip. Of these, the best option is Mage Hand because it allows us to throw something. We can take a look and see what spells we've got available. Will is better, but still not great at landing spells. Cone of Cold is a direct damage option, and that's mostly what we use Will for, is hitting things really hard. We could take a look and see if we wanted to replace a spell as well. There's nothing that we're interested in replacing right now. For Gale, we get a new cantrip as well. We're going to take Shocking Grasp, not particularly because it's super duper useful. There's one part of the game where having a electric attack can be helpful in opening a door. We could also take Minor Illusion to try to reposition enemies. We've got several people in the party, including our main character, that already have that. If we didn't, Minor Illusion would be the standout here. Gale is very good at landing spells, so control spells here are actually standouts for Gale. We're going to take Cloud Kill and Hold Monster. Gale can actually cast Hold Monster and make it stick, so it's a pretty good spell for him.
No time to rest.
And we'll need to cycle the rest of the characters into the party in order to level them up.
Nice. Wish we could stay and see what this place will be like without the shadows. I bet it's beautiful. No rest for the wicked, huh?
And we'll ask more about Gortash while we're
He got his
here.
claws into me early. I was a wild kid, brawling my way through the city. One of my mates got wind of a bit of work guarding some indoorsy type with lots of enemies. Seemed like easy money, so I went in for it. He took one look at me and said I was perfect. I like that. Not like that, you know. Just... it felt like a good fit. I kept him safe and he paid me well. Well enough to move into a better neighborhood and put something away for the future. My future. I respected him, trusted him. And he returned that trust, that respect. His life was in my hands, and I took that seriously. The whole thing with Zariel happened so fast. I had no idea what had gone down until it was over. 1 minute I was in Baldur's Gate, a happy, healthy, not quite kid. The next, I was burning up in Avernus with an engine for a heart. Zariel laughed. Said she paid him well for my services. She'd wanted to test her new machine, and he said I'd be able to handle it. He was right. Sometimes I wish he weren't. Evil, evil bastard. Soldier?
And we'll add
I'm
her.
up for it, but your party's a little full.
Here it doesn't matter, we're just going to swap out with everybody so we can level quickly.
Excellent. Let's go.
We've already leveled Will, we'll go pick up Lizelle.
The curse is broken and the shadows are lifting. In time, these lands will heal. Make space, and my might is yours.
And we'll swap out with
Ready
Jaheira.
for battle.
Grab Shadowheart.
The shadows are losing their grip on these lands. Shah can indeed be thwarted. Comforting to know. You wanted something?
We can talk about things here.
I'm sorry. It might be best kept until later. I'd be a poor counsel and worse company just now.
So we need to rest before she'll do that, but we'll level her now.
Crowded, don't you think? You'll need to swap out someone if you want me.
And we'll have her swap with Will.
Wonderful. I was beginning to feel a little left out.
You wanted something?
Alright, so for Karlach, and a barbarian if you're running one, no choices to make. She's going to pick up the ability to instill fear. It's a wisdom save. This isn't an ability that you'll use probably ever. For our fighter, we pick up a new cantrip. Again, an option here would be to pick up Shocking Grasp. We could pick up Bone Chill to try to prevent healing. None of these are particularly great standouts. Our Eldritch Knight isn't a particularly talented caster with low int. We do get some new spells. I think our option here is going to be to take an Area of Effect spell. The thunder damage tends to do extra against objects, so this allows her to break barrels and other stuff that's around the battlefield more effectively. Similarly for our cleric, thaumaturgy is for intimidation and performance, which we're not having Shadowheart do since our main character is a bard. We could pick up light, or we could pick up blade ward. We'll pick up light. She does have the ability to wear some equipment that is affected by illumination. And we'll add a staring to the party.
I never saw myself as a banisher of shadows before. I was always more of a lurker-in, historically.
And we can ask here what he plans to do about the ritual.
Before anything else, I need to know where it's happening. To the public, Cazador is an ordinary noble. A little reclusive, perhaps, but just another of the great and the good of Baldur's Gate. He has a grand palace on the hills of the gate, where he hosts the city's high society. I don't know if he performed the ritual there. It feels too public. He'd risk exposure.
And we, since we're from Baldur's Gate, we'll mention that we're surprised that the place has been filled with vampires.
I know. Subtle, isn't it?
We don't want to suggest running, but we can say that we can ask around the city.
I hope so. Because I'm not striking another deal with Raphael. Knows what he'd demand this time. But if the citizens of Baldur's Gate don't know anything, my brothers and sisters might. Cazador is a master of secrets, but the other spawn must have seen something.
And that leads us to trying to find the other spawn.
Need something?
We can ask about what he's thinking about Cazador's ritual. This is sort of where his head's at about what he might do.
The thing that will decide my fate forevermore. Yes, it's been on my mind. Why?
We'll ask him what his intentions are.
I hadn't really decided on the specifics. Obviously, we could stop the ritual, or not. What? I've obviously thought about it. If I was the one who completed the ritual, I'd have such power. And I could walk in the sun without fear I'd turn into a mind flare.
And we could say that he might be tempted, or we could talk about the souls that need to be sacrificed. So we'll ask about the souls, since we don't particularly want an evil monster walking around in the sun.
I don't relish it, but my siblings lured thousands of people to their deaths over the years. I doubt Baldur's Gate would miss them. Of course, I don't even know if I could complete the ritual. It may be impossible, but it certainly is tempting.
And we'll add him to the party.
Perhaps if you lost a follower or two, I prefer to travel in smaller groups. It's more intimate.
And we'll just swap out with anyone.
Excellent. Now that that's settled, lead on.
And we'll level up our rogue. So at level 10, we pick up another cantrip. Here again, we'll pick up Shock and Grasp just to give Asterion something that he's got for a close range attack. We could also use Dancing Lights, which does create pressure. So in places where there are pressure plates or illumination that he needs to do at range, we could do that. And now, thinking a little bit more about it, perhaps we'll use that just so we have something to concentrate on if we do engagement combat again, and use the Githranki Ring. Here, our options for level 2 spells are pretty bleak. Mirror Image is better than Blur, and his intelligence is so low that we're not going to be able to land the save spells. Here, we pick up another feat, which is unique to rogues here at level 10. And we're going to take the ability improvement and put it into dexterity. This makes him do a little more damage, better at sneaking, better at stealing, better at all of the things that we're asking Asterion to do. Another good option would be lucky, which would allow him to re-roll on failed checks. And we've also got Halsin. Halsin is back at the tower. We're going to skip leveling him for right now because we're not going to immediately use him, but it would be the same as Jaheira. We're using the same build for him. And with that, we'll go ahead and
Here we go.
end day in camp. And we'll take a look around, and it looks like we've got an event here with the Night Song and no one else. So we'll head over and talk to her. And this is going to be the Shadowheart event.
What do you know about me? You spoke of my past, being chased by wolves. I told no one about that. Almost no one. But I certainly didn't share that with you.
There is nothing I can tell you that you do not already know yourself. They trained you well, trained you hard. Chiseled away any part of you that did not fit their plan. They made you forget.
I chose to do that. For the mission to protect Shaz.
Secrets. Yes, yes, that is an old song, girl. Your goddess cares more for her precious secrets than she does her devotees.
Get to the point.
When you freed me, you severed a bond between me and that dog, Thorm. A bond of pain. His, inflicted on me. When I laid eyes on you, I sensed a similar bond. You, tethered to two others. Someplace distant. Let me help you remember.
You feel Shadowheart's mind tug at the edges of your own. You know this sensation. She wants you to see whatever is about to be revealed.
And we'll open our mind to that.
Your mind joins with Shadowheart's. Something pulls at you both, bringing you elsewhere. Something sparks in your memory. Teachings about Selûnite rites of passage, about how they would abandon their children out in the wilds and force them to find their way home. It seems that one child never came back. She was taken.
What? Who was that man?
You already know. Did you not see yourself in him? Do you not recognize your own blood?
My father. That was him.
That is him. He lives still. And your mother, too.
No. It can't be. I'm an orphan.
And who told you that? Your adoptive family? You are not to blame. You were young, impressionable. They took you because they wanted to break and remake you. But you are a child no longer. You are a woman. One who knows what must be done.
My parents. I need to save them.
So we got that Selûnite rite text because we had read about the rite and the note that we found in the chest in the owlbear cave. And we'll offer to help Shadowheart.
Your parents are with your abductors. You will need to return to their lair. But be warned. You may have once thought of them as comrades, mentors, friends, even lovers. They will all be enemies now. You have been forewarned for what is to come, but not yet forearmed.
We'll point out that that was supposed to be able to kill her.
It no longer has the power to harm me, now that I've removed it from Shah's domain. Shah is quick to discard whatever she has no use for. I think you know that well enough, but I felt it call to me as I took flight. Whatever Shah calls her own, Selûne has equal claim to. They are one and the same. Their power is matched and mirrored. Take it. You will find it useful. What you do with it, that will be up to you. Same as before.
I'll need every advantage, it seems. Thank you.
A debt repaid. You returned my life unto me. Now go and claim your own.
It hurts.
Shah torments you still. What a spiteful creature she is. This will not stop until you take action. See that your parents' sacrifices are not in vain. Allow the Moon Maiden to guide you at last.
We also saw there that Shadowheart's dad is a werewolf, which is interesting. So he was following her around as a wolf to make sure that she got home okay, and they captured him as well. And we'll go to bed here. And we did use resources today, so we'll go ahead and consume some of our camp supplies. Again, if we wanted more, Volo has some. We can buy them. They are not expensive. Our new day. Halson still is in the tower. And we'll come over and follow up with Shadowheart.
I've been lied to. My whole life. And I was gullible enough to just believe it. My parents are alive, and I have to save them. I think a part of me always knew that. A part that Shah denied to me.
We'll take option 2. She's been forced to live a lie.
Indeed. But the truth may yet prove painful. Who knows what Shah still keeps from me? We'd better press on for now, and hope we're ready when the moment comes. But before that, there's one thing I need to see to.
And we'll ask what that is.
You'll see for yourself soon enough. Just leave it with me.
And we'll leave. opt to leave camp.
So, you and Lae'zel. Seems tense.
Please don't remind me. But keep your
And
guard
if
up.
we wanted to level up Halson, we could run back in here and talk to him, add him to the party, and do that. We'll also get him in camp here shortly. The quartermaster's around here if we want here. Tally, if we were interested in buying more things. She's still the best vendor for bombs, I think, in the game. And really, apparently doesn't want to talk to us. Stop running away, Tally.
It's a grim task. But the way I hear it, the fighting's not done yet. You need to resupply.
And again, she's got lots of scrolls. Lots of stuff. With all the levels that we were going through, we could easily replenish all the bombs that we used on Ketherick. So we'll just buy that as an example. We're going to head back to camp and make sure that we have rest without any events before we move on, so that we're all the way covered for Act 2. We'll select yes. We don't need to use any camp supplies though. Don't see any exclamation marks. So we'll do a partial rest. And that's it. And we have progressed the Shadowheart quest where she's updated her look. And if we take a look at Shadowheart now, we'll find that her deity is switched, so she's a worshiper of Selûne.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Scratch here wants to give us a small item. This is something that the
Wags
dog
his
does
tail,
periodically.
A small bag clenched between his teeth.
So it's usually a potion of healing or a bone or something like that. So we made the check.
He gives in and surrenders his
That was a
find.
potion of healing. Thanks, Scratch.
Be honest. What do you think of the new look?
We'll ask what inspired the change.
Thought I knew who I was. But I was wrong. I do not belong to Shah. And I do not want to be adorned like one of her puppets any longer. The hair is just a gesture, true. But everything has a first step.
We'll say that if it helps to put the past behind her, we're all for it.
I'm glad. Though, I don't think I'm quite done with the past yet. Not until I've been to Baldur's Gate.
And we'll leave. And now's when we can head to the road to Baldur's Gate.
Beholders and bandits, but never darkness itself. I dare say we could part all the seas of Toril if we so wished.
So we got this waypoint early in the act.
Everything.
There's a bit of a surprise here. If we hadn't already been, we would run into a Githyanki ambush. We already took care of that. It's a bit of a surprise if you've been to the crash to leave. So we're going to go ahead and click right here to head to Baldur's Gate, and I'll catch you in the next video where we have a brief respite before we get back to the action again. See you there.
The curse has been lifted, the land's cleansed of the shadows. Ketherick's reign of living death is over. Your courage has been tested, and in this at least, you have triumphed.